Coming up on today's edition of Bengals Breakdown, Mel Kiper has updated his 2024 NFL Draft Big Board. I figure a good way to go through and see which players make sense or don't make sense for the Bengals, since there is a 100% chance that multiple of his top 25 guys will be there at pick number 18. Before we get going, if you want more NFL draft coverage and free agency and news and rumors on everything around the Bengals, hit that sub button for me right now. The offseason goal is 10,000 subscribers total. We gained over 2,500 during the season, but the offseason is just as fun, if not maybe a little bit more so with the way the year went. Get more free videos when you subscribe right now. We'll go 1 to 25 on Kiper's board. You're not going to take a quarterback, so we'll ignore Caleb Williams at number 1. I would love Marvin Harrison Jr. Only way he gets to 2 is if he kills someone, and even then, he still might not fall to you. You're not going to go quarterback, so that's Jayden Daniels at number 3, Drake Maye at number 4. Number 5 is Odunze. I like his game a lot. I don't see him getting to you, so again, cross off the list. Same with Malik Nabers, as fun as it would be to be the Bayou Bengals again. Nope. I love Brock Bowers at 7. That's like your still not realistic pipe dream option at number 7 overall, but it's just not going to happen. I'd be shocked if he got out of even the top 10. If he gets to 15, maybe consider trade up. I don't know. Joe Alt is probably going to be a top 10 pick. Same with Fashanu. The tackles, maybe a surprise slide, but I'd be pretty blown away. Dallas Turner is the first defensive player on this list. I don't mind that one. Again, I don't think he falls to you. If he does, you got to consider it, even though you just took a first-round edge rusher in Myles Murphy last year. Number 11 is Brian Thomas Jr. And if you're doing the mock draft sims, etc., you can still get him in some of those mock drafts. I think come April, he's probably not going to be there for you. The production is really impressive. 68 catches for 1,000+ yards at 17+ per clip. 17 touchdowns, by the way, as well. The other angle you run into here is, I think, with a player that big and that fast and that productive, those guys don't fall. They don't get out of the top 15. Now, if he's there at 18, you haven't paid tickets long term, you got to consider it. But I don't think he's going to get there. I think the Colts at 15 could be a prime spot for him if he falls even that far. Who is your realistic dream Bengals NFL draft pick in the first round? Keep it somewhat realistic, but you can dream on top of that. Go vote for me in the comments, which is the pinned comment of today's video. The ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Number 12, Cooper DeJean, the cornerback out of Iowa. And number 13, Nate Wiggins, the cornerback out of Clemson. Two very different styles for these players with numbers that look extremely similar. DeJean was more of an off-zone corner for the most part. Didn't play that much man. Wiggins played some more press man than DeJean did. You just drafted DeJean Turner, who I like, by the way. If corner is the best player on your board, sure, let's think about it. I don't think corner would be the best player on your board because I think there's going to be some tackles get to in a little bit that would also fill a bigger need. Number 14 is Jared Verse, the defensive end edge rusher out of Florida State. He's a good football player. Now, he absolutely kind of came back alive down the stretch. The final 2 games, he kind of got going again after a fairly slow start to the season. He would have been a top 20-ish pick last year. Will probably be in the same range this year. But I actually like the number 15 player, Liatu Latu, out of UCLA more. Now, again, we're using the Kiper labeling, and he still does outside linebackers. It's an edge rusher. That's who he is. He'll have a higher grade for me, medicals notwithstanding, than Myles Murphy did. Now, medical might have him fall to you, but you also just took Myles Murphy in round 1. So, unless you are going to commit to a Latu Murphy option at edge long term, and then you also have Harrsion under contract too, and Hubbard, it doesn't really fit unless you have him graded like a top 10 player, top 5 player, and the medicals check out, which if they do, he's probably not going to be there for you anyway. Kiper's changed his big board. He didn't have Terran Owen in his top 25 last time. Now he's in the top 16 with no new information in theory coming in. Go figure. Again, it falls into the DeJean Wiggins conversation. He's a good corner. But I have Mike Hill under contract. I have DJ Turner. I have Cam Taylor-Britt. I don't need a corner unless he is heads and shoulders better than any other prospect, which I don't think is the case. Some more intriguing names to come, but first, the Bengals NFL Jam shirt is still available. A bunch of you I know have already bought it. You can still get it. Chatsports.com/Bengals Jam. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Those two are going to be here for the long run. Get an awesome t-shirt at chatsports.com/Bengals Jam. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Number 17 is Keon Coleman, who I think of the guys we've gotten to so far, outside of maybe one of those defenders, has the best chance of being on the board, which makes sense. We're getting further along into Kiper's actual big board here. Really good production both at FSU and at Michigan State, despite, I would argue, especially at Michigan State, the quarterback play not being that great. He's not an elite separator, but if you're trying to replace T. Higgins, there is some similarities between those two players. At spot number 18, we have Troy Fashanu, and I will tease it here for a second. We're going to get to 25. 2 players left on this list are not offensive linemen. Everybody else is. This is the money spot for the Bengals with where I think they will be able to draft and add talent. Now, Fashanu, I think, could maybe play tackle. A lot of people out there view him as an inside shift to guard guy, which if you take care of your right tackle need, and maybe you find the new Orlando runner that ends up being, or you pay Jonah Williams, could be a big upgrade over Cordell Bolson. Number 19, Taliese Fuaga. I don't know if he's going to get outside the top 20. He might not be there for you when you get on the clock. A lot of whispers that the Jets like him quite a bit. He fits the Bengals style as of late. Big body, big power, great run blocker. Didn't allow a sack, and kind of a runner in a more run-heavy offense at Oregon State than you'll see for other college football programs. Fuaga is a monster mauler. He'd be a great pick for the Bengals. Plus, the jersey colors don't have to change for him. Stay in the orange and black. Now, do you want to go offensive line in round 1? I think for the likely outcome of the value and the needs you're going to have, I think it makes a ton of sense. So do you want to get one? Y for yes, N for no. Number 20 is J.C. Latham. There's a chance that he goes before Fuaga, and that wouldn't be a surprise. Also wouldn't shock me if he went afterward. Now, you see here 2 sacks allowed, 3 hits, 9 hurries. When the total pressures are low and the sacks, hits, are higher, normally a quarterback held the ball too long thing, which kind of was the case at Alabama this past year. Solid run blocker as well. Maybe you're traumatized by another Bama lineman. He's good, though. And frankly, so was Jonah Williams. That's not a one bad year and the injuries, but Williams is going to get paid. Be a fine pick in the first round. Another offensive lineman. Go figure, right? Amarius Mims. This one has more risk involved, I would argue, than Fuaga and Latham, but the upside is immense. 0 sacks allowed, 0 hits, 2 hurries, under 300 snaps. He played really well in 2022, but we're banking his entire NFL draft profile on basically a singular season's worth of snaps, and that's kind of pushing it. A handful of starts. And the game people are going to say, go start with, is a game from last year against Ohio State in the CFP. That's always kind of risky. Tyler Guyton, meanwhile, who we mentioned on yesterday's show here on Bengals Breakdown, also didn't allow a sack this year for Oklahoma. I think has some work to do in terms of some technique and just, again, he hasn't played a lot either. Both Mims and Guyton, we can group these linemen together, right? We can group, Alt and Fashanu together as the top 2 guys. We can group Fuaga and Latham as your right tackle, more polished options. And then Latham and Mims are your right tackle, or Mims and Guyton, are your kind of developmental right tackles that have high upside but aren't fully there at this stage. But at 18, one of those guys is going to be there probably. Number 23 is J.J. McCarthy. They're not going quarterback. Number 24 is Jordan Morgan. Senior Bowl measurements were not good for him. Under 33-inch arms. Now, it used to be teams wanted 34-inch arms. Now, teams like, okay, as long as they're 33, we can make it work. Sub 33 is unideal for Jordan Morgan, but the tape's very good at Arizona. He'll also face a lot better passers in the NFL than he did in the Pac-12. A couple good ones, but wasn't a loaded group. That kind of is a little bit concerning. Plus, there are other right tackle options. Morgan playing on the left side. might not be as good of a fit for Cincinnati. Then there's the nose guard, Devondre Sweat. Did you guys see the Senior Bowl clip of him? It's Senior Bowl. It's one-on-ones. It's not necessarily real football, but he dog walks a center back and it kind of folds him in like a lawn chair. It was a very impressive rep. I think he's going top 50. I don't know if he's going to go top 25. But if you don't do anything at nose guard, I think he'd be there for you at 18, and it'd be a fallback option for the Bengals if you had to go down that path. Now, what do you think is the biggest need for Cincinnati? Sound off for me in the comments section right now. The single biggest positional need, can't go owner or head coach or whatever, position only in the comments. Quick run through some other prospects here. Both of the more three techniques, the disruptive guys, Byron Murphy, Jerzon Newton out of Texas and Illinois, Graham Barton out of Duke, Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. Both are interior offensive line guys. And JPJ looks awesome at the Senior Bowl too. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I still like him. Maybe he has a slide if the speed concerns end up being true. But again, I don't think I need a corner in round one.